How's it going, everyone? I want to talk about a couple of things in this video. First of all, PlayStation Plus Extra has been updated, and one of the notable additions to the library this month is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Unfortunately, we have uncovered some disappointing information. I guess not uncovered would be the right word, but it's just some disappointing news about the game being added to Plus Extra. It's a game that I really enjoyed, but man, a bummer, as we'll talk about it in a little bit. And I want to give you guys some updates on some lower-key PlayStation titles. For Solus, a title that I think a lot of you guys should have on your radar. This is a super atmospheric third-person thriller, and it was initially announced for PC. It's coming to PlayStation 5 as well this summer. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, surprising news, PlayStation Plus members, if you are an extra subscriber, you get Dragon Ball Z Kakarot as a part of your monthly game catalog update, but you don't get the PlayStation 5 version? This is so strange to me, and to be fair, this has happened in certain instances in the past. I think the most obvious one that I recall is when Final Fantasy VII Remake was given as a PlayStation Plus Essential title back in, I want to say, March of 2022, March of 2021, somewhere around there. I believe it was March of 2021. It wasn't the PlayStation 5 upgrade, or that version wasn't upgradable to the PlayStation 5 version, because I believe the PS5 version came out a few months after that. And then ultimately Square Enix was just like, okay, if you have the PS Plus version, you can upgrade it, but it happened a couple months after the fact. With Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, like, this is a game that's years and years old. It came out in early 2019. Why not just offer the PlayStation 5 version of the game? Especially because if people play the PlayStation 5 version and they really enjoy it, guess what they'll probably end up buying? The expansions, the DLC. There's quite a lot of it, and it's quite good. But I don't know if just offering the PlayStation 4 version, that's enough to push people away from even trying out the game, because, you know, you got so many games in your PlayStation Plus catalog. If you are an extra subscriber, you do have to be a little bit selective in what you're going to invest your time into, and if you have a PS5, you'd probably prefer to play the games that are either PS5 games or they're upgradable to PS5, and if they don't even have that upgrade available, remember, this is a free upgrade. The upgrade was free. It's not like you had to pay for anything, so it's just strange. And Bandai Namco, when asked for a comment, just declined to comment on whether DBZ Kakarot's PS Plus version was intended to include its free PS5 upgrade. In other words, you're only getting the PS4 version as noted on Push Square. Very disappointing, because the PS5 upgrade is quite good for Dragon Ball Kakarot as well, and the game itself is quite good. Like, I really enjoyed this game. And, you know, I'm not a huge Dragon Ball fan, but I did grow up watching Dragon Ball. Like, I was a big Naruto guy growing up, and Dragon Ball was airing, like, around the same time. Like, you'd watch the reruns and whatnot. I don't believe when I was growing up I was watching, like, the first run airing of Dragon Ball, because that had to have happened in the late 90s or something like that. But nevertheless, Dragon Ball is something, like, I feel like everybody that's remotely into anime, or even not into anime, like, a lot of people just like Dragon Ball. I have a lot of friends personally that Dragon Ball is the only anime that they've ever watched. But nevertheless, Kakarot is a pretty decent retelling of the Z storyline from the Saiyan saga all the way up until the end of the Buu arc. There are some omissions here and there. Would I still recommend you to play? Like, if you're a Dragon Ball fan and for some reason you've been missing out on this, sure, maybe if you only have a PS4, but that PS5 upgrade is something pretty notable that I would honestly almost recommend. Yo, you could probably find a pre-owned copy of this game relatively cheap, and when it does go on sale, you know, it's fairly cheap. Or you could wait a little bit longer and wait for the Legendary Edition, which does include the 2 season passes, and then pick that up, and then, you know, you can be on your merry way. You'll have the PS5 version as well, but, you know, just a bummer. I hope we don't see stuff like this regularly as a tactic to offer games in subscription services, but you're not going to offer the next generation version of it. I don't believe this has ever happened with Game Pass, where a version of a game has been locked away from Game Pass where it had a next generation upgrade or anything like that. Just like a really, really strange little gimmick, I guess you could say, that they're doing, and I don't really think it's that beneficial. Like, you're lessening the value of the game being in the subscription service. I think you're annoying people that wanted to check out the game, and, you know, it's just a bummer. Like, you put all that effort into doing the upgrade back in January, why not just offer it? Because that upgrade coincided with the release of those expansions, and you're trying to sell the expansions at this point. I don't think you're really trying to sell the game itself, and you already kind of sold the game. You sold it to Sony to offer it in a subscription service. I don't know what the deal was. Did they ask for more, you know, for more compensation for a licensing agreement for the PS5 version, and Sony wasn't down with that? I don't know how these, you know, business deals really work. This is one that is just rather strange to me. At least in the case of like Final Fantasy VII, it was a PlayStation Plus Essential title, so I guess you can make the argument like, yo, that's the bottom tier of PlayStation Plus. But even that, I was like, yo, they should have just given the upgrade, and ultimately they did go back and give you the upgrade on that. So, you know, I don't know. This is just one that I find a little bit of a disappointment because I have talked rather highly about DBZ Kakarot. Like, I think it's a fairly good game, so yeah, just a bummer there. But moving on from that, I do want to cover a couple of other things. For its Solus will launch for PlayStation 5 alongside its previously announced PC version this summer. That was announced by publisher Dear Villagers and developers Fallen Leaf and Black Drakar Games. Fort Solus is a single-player third-person thriller set on the far side of Mars. Engineer Jack Leary responds to a routine alarm upon arriving at a dormant Fort Solus. He becomes unnerved by the lack of any staff at the base. As the night grows longer, events begin to unravel and spiral out of control. The mystery of what Fort Solus was created for starts to appear along with his crew. Can Jack escape with what he has discovered, and more importantly, his life? The game notes: key sequences, huge narrative moments that are fully playable with multiple outcomes, each containing actions that have story-changing consequences, immersive storytelling, high-fidelity world aiming to be as immersive and captivated as the performances of our cast. Explore Fort Solus, our large base location encompassing over 9 individual structures, all containing surface and subsurface levels. Players can play on the surface of Mars or simply progress by remaining below the surface. The choice is theirs. Again, visually, the game looks quite good from a technical standpoint, looks impressive, and definitely looks to be more of an atmospheric and immersive title. If you're into more psychological games, I think this is something that you are going to be interested in. Again, it is a high-fidelity experience designed to completely immerse the player in the cast and their long night with performances from Roger Clark, Troy Baker, and Julia Brown. Fort Solus looks to deliver emotion, fear, empathy, and much more with every chapter. Supporting the core narrative are additional instances of stories such as audio logs, surveillance footage, or past of present events. Accompanying those are video logs recorded by all crew detailing the events before and perhaps even after the night the alarm was triggered at Fort Solus. Explore Fort Solus. The skeleton of Fort Solus is built above and below ground. The base contains a variety of locations, each with their own surface and subsurface levels. Players will be able to explore the isolated storm-bearing surface, the creepy service tunnels absent of any light, or the multiple departments that help Fort Solus function on a day-to-day basis, such as engineering, medical, and communications. As the story unfolds, locations can be easily revisited for additional story context to continue to serve as a backdrop to the fate that awaits Jack with each passing hour. Again, the game doesn't have an official release date, but we do know a summer window thus far. So another game, like the summer's actually shaping up kind of nicely right now with a couple of games noted for July, and now you have another title like Fort Solus. Like, we don't have any major titles, but I think there's going to be some lower key titles that people can sink their teeth into come this summer. But that's going to do it for me. Again, a bummer with DBZ Kakarot. See a lot of disappointment around this. I don't really understand what the tactic is for this. I guess it's to get people to buy the game so they get the PS5 version, but whatever. Fort Solus adds a PS5 version. That'll be coming sometime this summer. That'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.